Coming up with unique habitat ideas and getting creative in Planet Zoo is just the thing I like to do. And in today's video it is no different. We're going to be creating this enclosure. Using the null barrier method, we're going to have a lovely viewing area, lovely bits of foliage, and of course custom made buildings and fences throughout. With a high detail backstage area, no details are left unturned in this video. Hello, my name is Adamup, and that's right, we are back in Planet Zoo, where we're going to be creating a very unique habitat this time. And I wanted this building to kind of be a mixture between a tutorial and a speed build. I wanted to build a habitat which really pushed my creativity skills, but I also wasn't sure which animal I wanted to go with, so I thought why not drop some tips along the way and kind of make it into a tutorial and a speed build video. And then you can download this off my Steam Workshop page, link in the description if you do want it in your own zoos, and you can decide what animal you want to put in here. I actually haven't got any kind of idea what kind of animal. It'll suit like a small to medium sized animal. It's not the largest of habitats, but it is very high detailed, and I wanted to express really the kind of detailing you can put and the realism you can put in a small habitat like you're going to watch me build now. Obviously I'm going to give you all the tips and all the tricks I use along the way. Starting with this, I'm building a modular piece, which is basically an on-the-grid system. And basically you just need an on-the-grid piece, you build around it, and then it makes it very easy just to duplicate over if you need to. And that modular piece for me is that concrete flooring, and then I'm going to build around it. You can see me, I build like the moats because we're going to have water, and that's going to be our natural barrier, what stops our animals escaping. We're going to build this glass panel here, and this is going to be the barrier for our guests to stop our guests falling in. A lot of you have to really use your imagination when it comes to Planet Zoo and think about how stuff would work in real life, and then go with that. Obviously you can push the boundaries of that because it doesn't have to be ultra realistic. It is a video game after all, but having like two separate barriers, a barrier for the guest and a barrier for the animals, is something what you would find in a zoo, and then it looks really good as well when creating stuff in Planet Zoo. You can see with the high detailing what I was going on about, I'm going to have even another barrier here which is going to act as like a railing for the guest. We're going to have a separate wooden floor here so they don't have to walk on concrete, just a bit more comfier underneath the feet. And if you know those pesty little small guests, the children in our zoos do fall over it, it'll cushion them a bit more. And that's the type of like kind of way I think when I build stuff in Planet Zoo. Like you can see me trying to build a net in here. That's the kind of thing I was first going with, so if guests was to fall in the habitat it would catch them in the netting, and animals on the other side it will catch them as well but still keep them separate. This is the thought process I go through when in Planet Zoo. It ended up looking absolutely shit, so I got rid of it and I just put water in there. And even though we did build on the grid, it makes it much easier to copy when you're going on the grid system left and right. But when you want to build a circular structure, it is more difficult, and you can see me attempting to build that now. I just had to turn each one at 15 degrees and then line them up as best I can, and then I've got that lovely little curvature, and this is going to act as the path and the main viewing area for the guests. We're going to have a separate view area on the right hand side as well, and this is going to give the opportunity for our guests to view the animals, whichever we decide to put in there, while they sleep. Just a little extra private viewing area for guests, and a comfy area for the animals as well. Obviously we need a path underneath our path, an actual in-game path underneath our custom made path. You can use no paths, don't worry how it looks because we're going to be covering it with our custom paths. That's my thought process anyway. We need to dig down because we want water in that moat, that natural barrier look. And then it was just, I had this, can you see like the hangover there of the terrain? I thought, oh no, what am I going to do? So I thought, just make the moat smaller and just line it all up. So just use the same plaster pieces to cover the terrain, and then it can just extend a little bit with the plaster pieces. If something breaks in Planet Zoo, don't panic and think, oh no, it's not working, I can't do it. Because I have the tendency to do that. Sometimes I just totally close Planet Zoo down and I'm thinking, oh no, I can't do it, forget it, I'll come back to it another day. But just keep at it, have a little rethink, zoom out and think, how can I make this look better? So extending it like you can see me doing here, digging down with the terrain tool, and then I can slowly just duplicate this on the same grids as well, just duplicate it over, and everything will line up because we've already lined it up. All we have to do is cover the terrain with plaster pieces, like you can see I've done here, add water, and there we go. You can see I've started covering those gaps as well, because obviously when you turn something at 15 degrees, you're going to have a gap. So I just used the off-the-grid concrete pieces. You can see me just duplicating them, merging them together to duplicate them over. We can turn our angle snap on. We just need to slide that over, and we just need to fill all these gaps. Once those gaps were filled, I wanted some foliage and I wanted an extra railing on the other side, really to designate the path. So I used these pieces. I've got the conservation gutter as a curb. I've got mulch in there. I've got foliage. I've got some of the plaster pieces. I've got the iron bars from the new pack, the newest DLC. And I'm just going to line that up against our custom made path. But also, I've built another path on around the outside, which you can see. And this is going to act as a cover up. It's going to cover all those nasty bits like this. Once that main viewing area was in place, it was time to build that private viewing area, what I was talking about, where our guests can view our animals sleeping. We did that with the plaster pieces, and we're going to add some glass as well. The same kind of glass what we did in the main viewing area. And then on this side, we need to start creating our custom walls to create our hard shelter and backstage area of our buildings. Now, creating a hard shelter and a backstage area is a must for me for any habitat, for any animal you're building. With this, we went with the plaster pieces of a tile look at the bottom. These are the conservation wood pieces, just layering them in, to create a wood structure. Then it's a matter, once again, of duplicating it over on the same grid, because that plaster piece as the wall is an on the grid piece. We can easily, especially when it's a square building like this, just duplicate everything what's on the piece over, and that's how you create custom walls in Planet Zoo, really. And I keep zooming out and thinking how I want it to look, and when you've got an idea in your head, just go with it, honestly, and it will all work out in the end. You can see I've left a gap. That's where our gap, not our door gap, that's our gap where our animals are actually going to be put in the habitat. So that's where the habitat gate is going to be. Obviously we're going to be running a null barrier all the way around the edge of this habitat, because we've already created that natural custom made habitat with the moat. It's not custom made habitat, I'm really muddling my words in this video, aren't I? A custom made moat, and that's going to act as a natural barrier to stop our guests coming in and our animals coming out. Now, while constructing this backstage area, I thought I'd just show you this door. A lot of people comment on my YouTube video saying, what piece did you use here? Slow down a bit, maybe show it step by step. So this is what I want to do, because details like this really bring buildings alive. So let's talk about this door. Obviously, we've got the glass panels, haven't we? Now, for the trim, I'll just go in because I forgot the name. It's the European Marquee Beam. These are from the European pack, so if you don't have that, you probably won't have access to these, but it makes a really good metal door frame. And then we've got these handles. Now these are the conservation gutter pipe. Let me just go into it again just to make sure I get the name right for you if you want to search it. The conservation gutter pipe connection. Now it's meant for a gutter, but it's all about reusing items in Planet Zoo to make it look like something else, and it works out a really good handle for a door. Now on the top and at the bottom you can see these hinges. These are the European shutter hinges, I believe out of the European pack. And then just a little trick what I like to do, because it is something what you would find on a glass door in real life, it stops people walking into them, and these are these circles here. Now this is actually the letter O in your construction tab. So just go onto your lettering here, scroll down until you find O, and then I just place them as evenly as possible like this, just to add to even the more realistic aspects. And from the top with the walls in, it looks a little something like this. Now I've left this gap here because this gap is going to lead to the backstage area, the outside backstage area. So that's right, we're going to have this viewing area for the guests in this outside area here for the animals. They're going to come in and out of here. We're going to extend this building with different building materials to create the actual hard shelter for the animals, and it's going to extend to the backstage area outside part for the animals as well. So they're going to have plenty of space. But we need to build the hard shelter. That's the start of the backstage area. But for the hard shelter, we created this custom wall, just a plaster piece, added some of those iron bars again from the newest pack. And it kind of looks and gives the impression that the animals can't scuff the walls, doesn't it? And things can slide like doors. And then once everything was in place, it looked like this. Very simple. I've left gaps on one side for the animals to get in and out, and on the other side for animals to get in and out. And then the backstage area, the outside backstage area, we're just going to layer some plaster pieces down like this and some flooring pieces down as well. And then we need to fill these gaps once again with the mesh pieces. I love using the mesh pieces in Planet Zoo, and for like a outside backstage area like this, which has an enclosed area of plaster walls, it just works really well with these mesh pieces. So that's what I was going with. Align them with the marquee metal piece that is on the end of the mesh pieces, just to highlight it a little bit, give it a little bit more realistic look, and it just looks better, doesn't it? I always say if something looks better, do it. Basically, the better it looks, the more satisfied I am when I'm building something Planet Zoo. Then obviously once I've got all these marquee metal pieces in place and I've lined everything up, because I've got one side and the other side is identical in width and height, I can simply just select it all and just advance, move and duplicate it over. Simple. Now we've got the mesh at the back, it was time to build the mesh at the front. So I just grab one of the mesh pieces and we need to build what looks like a sliding animal door. So it gives the impression that this door is going to slide up and down to gain or deny access and egress to the animals. That's the point of it for me, and I do these kind of doors in every single hard shelter I build in Planet Zoo. It's no different whether it slides left or right, whether it's manual or electronic. This case it's going to be electronic. We're going to add a switch and some wires and stuff like that. You will see it as it goes along. But the main purpose of it is to add to the realism and add to the looks. And you probably noticed that's the main purpose of everything I build, and that's how I love getting creative in Planet Zoo. So to give it the impression that it can slide up and down, I needed to create like a lip. What I mean by the lip is just a little bit of like a metal sticking out. These are the Indonesian wood pieces. I'll recolor both colors because it has two sets of colors to like a grey, and it makes it like a metal. Now this is interesting. I've never done this before. I've added these. I believe these are out the new pack as well. So if you've not got the newest pack in Planet Zoo, you won't have access to them, unfortunately. And it gives the impression that these slide into the hole in the ground. And again, this is something that you would find in real life. And how good and how realistic does that make this one fence? Now it really does look like it can slide up and down. All I have to do is group all these together now once I've actually completed the fence. And again, I just needed to merge them together and then slide them over. Just duplicate and advance move. Once you've got one side in Planet Zoo, you've got them all. Right, let's add the switches. Just type in switch in your construction tab and you'll find this button, and then wire to find the wires. And then it just gives the look that we can actually switch that switch on and off to make the gates go up and down. Well, not all the zookeepers, but we're in control of them, aren't we? It's a simulation. We're going to add a normal black box here. This is just the switch. Again, if you type in switch, these two options will come up. I'm just using the other one to create a box as well. And then I thought, wait a minute, I've not got the details on the back, on the actual backstage area, the open bit at the back. So I thought, let's add some fences again. And I was going to leave it like that, but then I thought, no, Adam, the whole purpose of this video is showing your creativity style and what you can actually achieve in Planet Zoo in a smaller habitat like this, and push those creativity boundaries. So I thought, let's not leave any detail unturned. Now this, what you can see me doing here, is brilliant. Every piece what I put in my backstage areas, I'm not joking, it's off the Steam Workshop page or the conservation animal pack, I think it's called. If you've not got that pack is brilliant for backstage areas like brushing and stuff. But these are from Caesar Creates, another Planet Zoo content creator on YouTube as well. He uploads brilliant stuff on the workshop. Rob these off him, and they're like little feeding stations at the back. This brilliant for kind of like a backstage area what I am building. So why create my own when other people on Steam Workshop have created them? And then all the other pieces you will see me putting in off my workshop as well. So I've got like a pack called, I think it's called like backstage area props or something like that. There's loads on the Steam Workshop page. Just type in backstage area and you'll see loads, including mine, including Season Creates, including other creators and other content people. Anyway, going on to the roof. Now those little details were in place at the back, and I kept the roof kind of simple. We always put details on the roof, like skylights and stuff like that, and fallen leaf litter. We're always going to do that, but for the actual fundamentals of the roof, we're going to keep it quite simple. We want a thinner roof, don't we? So we're going to do my little roof trick, what I like to do, and that's add the on the grid system, like we do with the custom walls, and like we did with the barriers as well, the actual habitat barriers. Just add a piece what's on the grid, which you can see at the bottom, and then I'm going to add a further piece at the top, which is a thinner plaster piece, and I'm going to line this with these metal pieces. Now once I've done that, all I have to do is duplicate it over like this, lower it down, and then we've got a thinner roof with this metal piece on, and then we just delete all the on the grid pieces, get rid of them, and we've got a thinner roof all lined up perfectly, exactly how it should be. And then once complete, it looked like this. Now it's time to add those details. So we're going to add some vents and stuff like that, stuff you would find on a roof, and some electronic stuff as well, some cables. On this side, again, simple plaster roof with a plaster trim, left some holes for skylights. So let's add those skylights in. At the backstage area, you can see I've added a hell of a lot more props, but I'll give you a full tour of everything I've done. Remember that all of the Steam Workshop page, just place them in. At the front, it's looking a little something like this. You can see it really coming together as well. I've added a little window on that backstage area as well. The leaf litter on the roof is on. Added some solar panels on the roof. Again, Steam Workshop page. And now we're just going to add some foliage. Now, what I like to do with foliage is add different colours, some dead trees, so add some trees, bury them down to make them look like bushes, and just layer the foliage in with different colours and different lengths. When all the foliage was put in, it looked a little something like this. Now you can see here I've just layered different coloured buffalo grass. If you're struggling to fill gaps and fill out a bit on your habitats, just layer a load of buffalo grass. And as for the people asking, well, what do you do about animals moaning about too much foliage or too less foliage or wrong foliage type? I'm playing on sandbox mode. I couldn't give a shit. You can turn off that setting in sandbox mode, or you can completely ignore it. I want my habitats to look the best I can get them. You can see here some natural foliage is overgrown and falling onto here, so I added some leaf litter in the water as well, just balancing it on the water surface to give it that more realistic look. Adding little signs like this, what I found off the Steam Workshop page, and an aircon unit. Adding a little grid in the water to make it look like the water's filtered somehow. Once again on this side, also added another little sign. I've not actually put education boards in, because remember, I've not even got an animal in here yet. This will be on the Steam Workshop page. If you want it, you can download it and have it in your own zoos. Put your own education boards in, and obviously put your own animals in. When you add all these kind of props into the backstage area, it really brings it alive. Again, we've got some more signs, we've got wet areas with grids, we've got decals on the floor like this, so it looks like some of the plaster or some of the concrete is chipped away. Boxes with leaf litter around. Dustbins, again, off the Steam Workshop page. Barrels, all add up to create that realistic part of any build. On the inside, I've actually kept it really simple. We've got like a command center here to control the gates, the electronic gates, what you saw me put in. Got a little notice board, and this is where the habitat gate is. So I click on this here, and then all I have to do is I then need to run a null barrier all the way around where the animals are supposed to go. You don't have to be really neat with it. You can be quite messy with it, but just run that round like I'm doing now, and just use that null barrier method so we can keep our custom made barriers that we've already built in that lovely viewing area and this indoor viewing area here. So we're just going to go all the way around like this, all where the animals can go. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, it can be messy. Come back in on yourself, connect it up, job done. You've got a gate all the way around now, and because of our walls and our custom made barriers, the animals will not escape. I really do hope that making this video has really brought some inspiration to you, give you some ideas, give you some little tips and tricks along the way, and hopefully you can start creating habitats like this if you're not doing so already. And with that being said and the habitat complete, that concludes this video. We have come to an end. If you did like this video, then obviously hit that like button. If you are new around here, then please subscribe if you want to see more Planet Zoo content. My name's Adam, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next Planet Zoo video.